This is the theme for a show about food. They'll be chopping and dicing and simmering too. There'll be various ingredients mixed all together in various amounts that she doesn't quite measure. There's pots and there's pans and some knives and a sink, and once in a while an alcoholic drink. So watch when you can and you'll learn something new about spices and rices and some kind of stew. And this is the part where we tell you the name of the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fatkid. I'm Jen Jacobs, and today I'm going to prove to you that fat kids eat salad too. When I was a kid, salad was pretty much just a vessel for the dressing, and it kind of still is. But as I've gotten older, my palate has expanded, and now I just want to be the one who brings the best side dish to the barbecue. You're going to be getting invited to tons of barbecues this summer. You want to be the one to bring the dish that everyone's talking about. So hopefully one of these two will be that for you. So today I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently. Normally I would show you all the ingredients and go down the line before I start. But I think in the interest of time, I'm just gonna show you as I go. Now there's gonna be a lot of chopping, so I'm just gonna let you watch me do it. First up, my Thai crunchy veggie quinoa salad. Now this salad, I didn't think I was gonna like, but I do, and if I like it, you will too. I'm gonna start by putting 3/4 of a cup of tricolored quinoa into 1.5 cups of boiling salted water, not heavily salted, just a pinch, a good pinch. So I'm gonna put that in, and I'm gonna grab a spoon and stir it around. Then I'm gonna cover it again, and I'm gonna let it come back up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm gonna turn it down to low and let it cook for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and check it. Basically, you just wanna make sure that the quinoa has absorbed all of the water and the quinoa is tender. So I am gonna start with just 1 large carrot, and I'm gonna chop that up for you. I'm gonna do an apple, a red pepper, and a red onion to start, and then I'll show you where to go from there. So you can do your veggies in your food processor if you have an attachment that will do what you need. I cut them by hand because my food processor is old and it doesn't have the attachment the way I want it. So I actually hand chop my veggies. I turn on my playlist, I crank up my tunes, I sing along, and then I just find my peace chopping veggies. So you don't have to make the carrots or any of the veggies this small. You can make them whatever size you like, really. But you want to make them small at the very least and as uniform as you can possibly get them. And now I'm gonna chop up my pepper and try and make it roughly the same size as the carrots. I also wanted to say that if you wanted, you could even just buy a pre-bagged slaw that doesn't have any sauce on it from the grocery store, the produce section. Those are really great in this too. It's really about the dressing for me in this dish. It's just so complex and warm but fresh at the same time with all the crunchy veggies. It's just so great for summer. So I have this internal struggle, right? When a recipe that is not a cook recipe calls for onions, I'm like, I'm not sure because of breath and people don't like it and whatever. So what I do with my onions is if I'm at all worried about serving them raw, one, I cut them very small or I thinly slice them and I put them into a bowl with some ice water. And I let them sit until I'm ready to use them. Then I pull out the ice and I strain it and put it on paper towel and then put it into my dish, and it doesn't have that burn, that nasty burn that you get from onions. I'm gonna add 1 can of rinsed and drained chickpeas, but you can use black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, whatever you like. I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of diced Honeycrisp apple. You can do this with green papaya. You could do it with really any fruit that has a little bit of crunch to it. So once I get my apples diced, I'm gonna put them into a little bit of acidulated water, which is just water that has citrus in it, to keep them from turning brown and to help them stay cold and crunchy until we're ready to put them in the salad. So I've drained my apples and my red onions, so I'm just gonna throw those both in there. Again, any veggies you like, any fruit you like. It's really in this dish about the freshness and the crunch and the dressing. So I'm gonna shred up 2 cups of actually Brussels sprouts because I don't love red cabbage, and the recipes that I've seen for this type of salad always have red cabbage. You can use whatever you like. You can use baby bok choy, you can use the red cabbage or endive, but I like the Brussels sprouts for this. And again, it's no cook, so you don't get that weird skunky cabbagey thing going on. So 2 cups of shredded either Brussels sprouts or cabbage, or bok choy, baby bok choy. 1/2 cup of thinly sliced scallions, and 1/2 cup of fresh chopped cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, if it tastes like soap to you, leave it out. You can use another herb that you like, preferably something Asian. If not, maybe just a little parsley, just for color. So I'm gonna put my veggies aside and I'm going to clean up a little bit. And then I'm gonna check my quinoa, make sure it's cool, and I'll show you how to make the dressing. So I'm just thinly slicing a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger. You're looking for about a tablespoon in this recipe. If you like more, you can certainly add more. I'm gonna put in this much, and I'm gonna use my food processor to do the rest of the cutting work for me. It's so much easier. Now, if you are a person who goes out and buys a bottle of salad dressing every time you have to make a salad, you're really doing yourself a disservice. If you have a food processor, a blender, or a mason jar, or a whisk even at home, you can make your own, and it's better than that shit in the bottle. Okay, so our ginger's good. So now I'm gonna add our cilantro. That's about a 1/4 cup. Just in there. You're gonna need peanut butter, 1 teaspoon light brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1.5 tablespoons rice vinegar, a teaspoon of fresh lime zest along with 1/2 of a lime juiced, 1 tablespoon of honey, but if you're making this vegan, you can use maple syrup or even agave nectar. So I'm breaking up a cup of cashews here. You can use any nut you like in this. If you have someone who has a peanut allergy, you can use a different kind of nut butter and that corresponding different kind of nut if you like. But for this recipe, everybody's good. So we're gonna just use the peanut butter in the dressing and top it with some crunchy cashews. But let me show you now. All you do is just put all those things in the food processor and let it go. Dressing is just getting mixed in there. I'm gonna drizzle in a little bit of water just to help it along because everything's so sticky. You can even hear the change in the blades. And it's looking a little too thick for me, so I'm gonna keep it going with a little more water. You want it to be a dressing that will easily distribute within your salad. And if you don't have enough water in there to balance it, then it's gonna be cloppy. Now I'm going to show you how to put it all together. My quinoa is all cooled and fluffed, so I'm just going to give that another quick fluff before I throw it in with the veg. You don't want to throw the warm quinoa in because it will start to cook the vegetables and they won't be crunchy, and that's not what you want for this. So I'm going to stir that around. It's so beautiful, it's so fresh, and it's got these beautiful colors. It just looks like a party. I've added some of my dressing. I'm just gonna put a little bit more in. You really have to check for yourself and see where you want it, bearing in mind that these are all fresh vegetables, so they're gonna give up their water once this stuff hits it. If it sits overnight, it's gonna get even more waterlogged. So what I like to do is just reserve some of it to pour over top right before I'm going to serve it. But what I would do is use 2/3 of the recipe and reserve 1/3. If you're gonna serve it that day, then you just pour on the last of the dressing right before, stir it up, and it'll taste much better. And finally, now that my dressing's mixed in, I'm just gonna add my cashews and stir those in. I'm gonna pop this into a to-go container. I'm gonna make you a pasta salad. When my husband and I met, he had his pasta salad and I had mine, and neither one of us was really willing to let go of the other fully. So We've made this our pasta salad, and you can make it yours. The first thing I'm going to do is get my pasta in because it needs to cool before I mix it in with the dressing and the veggies. So, very liberally season your pot. It is the only chance you get to really season your pasta. Pour in a box of rotini, whatever brand you like. Give it a little stir. And let it come back up to a boil until it's just under. I think the directions on this package are 7 minutes, so I probably am gonna check it around 5.5. So my pasta's all cooled and I've coated it with just the slightest bit of extra virgin olive oil to keep it from becoming a pasta helmet. So I've chopped up most of the veg. This is not rocket science. Feeling a little Bob Ross, right? So like, you know, maybe there's some yummy tomatoes and happy little black olives. Maybe in your pasta salad, the black olives even have some little green friends too. Maybe in your world, you'll have julienne red and orange peppers. Maybe you won't. Maybe you want broccoli in your world, and that's okay. But blanch it first, really quickly, and then shock it in ice water before you put it into your pasta salad. But sincerely, any bean, any olive, any vegetable, any fruit, anything you want, it's your playground. So I'm just gonna show you how we do it, and I hope you love it. I normally would use an English cucumber, one whole English cucumber, peeled and cubed, but they have these gorgeous little cucumbers. They're so sweet, and they're actually beautiful to use in this recipe. You don't have to peel them because they don't have wax, and they add some nice color and crunch to your pasta salad. So I'll show you how to cut these, just one of them. I mean, they can be cumbersome. You don't want these just coins, I don't think. So I just like to cut it in half and then cut that in half and give us nice little half moons. So they're manageable and they go throughout the salad. So I ended up using about 3 of these little guys from the grocery store. Again, one large English cucumber is fine, or you can leave it out if you don't like cucumber. You can replace it with something else. I also like to add some protein. So I'm gonna be using chickpeas, but again, kidney beans work in here, black beans, whatever you like. So I'm gonna throw those in. They're good for texture. Now I like to put cheese in my pasta salad. This right here is called fontanella. It is not fontina, it's fontanella. And it is the most delicious, salty, creamy, nutty cheese that there is. So I'm using this. I'm gonna use it sparingly because it's just little, you know, you just want it dotted through your pasta salad. So I'm gonna crumble my cheese, and then when we come back, I'm gonna show you how we make our dressing. Now I'm gonna show you our favorite dressing for this. I'm starting with about a half of a large shallot. You're gonna want about a 1/4 cup when all is said and done. I'm putting it in my food processor so I can be a little lazy and save some time. Okay, perfect. So now that we got the shallot kind of broken up a little bit, I can start to add the rest of the ingredients. 2/3 cup red wine vinegar, but you can use apple cider or balsamic if you prefer. 2 tablespoons spicy brown mustard. A tablespoon of dry Italian seasoning. You can use fresh if you like, but just remember you have to use 3 times fresh as you would dry. 1/4 cup of white sugar. I know. Good pinch of salt. And some black pepper. The juice of half of a lemon. I'm also gonna add some nice sweet red pepper to our dressing. And now I'm gonna get this going, and I'm just gonna slowly add in my olive oil. Looks just about ready. Let me just taste it for seasoning. That's right on the money, folks. I'm gonna pour in about, again, 2/3 of my dressing all over top. This one is definitely one you wanna leave to sit overnight if you can, or even make it in the morning and then just bring it. It's gonna absorb a lot of this dressing, so reserve your dressing here. Mix it all up. Make sure everything's coated and that it doesn't need any more right now, and please remember that it will continue to absorb the dressing, so you definitely have to add more. So don't add it all your first go around, but look how pretty. So here it is. This is Jason and Jen's pasta salad. I hope you enjoy it. We hope you enjoy it. And please subscribe and like and watch and share my videos. Put all those things in the food processor and let it go. If it just sprinkle through the salad. Kind of like how some people do fat choy. You can use Anyway, thank you for watching.